And listen to the Marvin Gaye's album, What's Going On the original pressing on the vinyl, and that tears my eyes because you could hear the orchestrations. For me, it was just like, wow.
We have come to produce things like, for example, the reference tone arm or the HB cables. The hand-built cables were actually originally just put together, every single strand. I had to find companies that they made the strands of wire the way we wanted it, and they supplied us and try this, try that, and look at what we actually transmitting along a piece of cable. This is an audio signal. It's not lighting a light with a battery, so you're not just looking at, for example, DC characteristics of a particular conductor. In audio, it's an AC signal. You're not really passing anything from one end to the other end. It's an electromagnetic wave that travels, a bit like a wave in a stadium. Nobody moves around, but you can see the wave going around. And the same thing applies to an audio cable. So I had to look at what are the deficiencies and which conductors have the ability to enhance and get you the result you want at the frequencies and at the amplitudes that they are conducting at that point in time. So one particular strand may be very efficient in a certain section of the audio band, but it may not be that efficient in another section. So you need to have different strands, different conductors, etc. And the same thing applies to something like a tone arm. I knew that in vinyl playback that I had been working, I've been designing record players since 1984, and I have done so many different versions, so many different things, but all achieving the same thing. And it wasn't until the birth of Vertere that I started working with the hand-built cables and with the reference tone arm that opened up the window to such an extent that it made it very easy to realize where the deficiencies lied, and therefore give us a roadmap to how we should go ahead. So once we've tackled one or two things, we knew what the next 2-3 things are going to be. You always have a vision of a little bit of advancement in future, so what you'll be looking at, which way you'll be going. Vertere's mission is to bring the performance of the audio system that we have at home as close as possible to the original, which means it becomes closer and closer to perfection and therefore becomes more and more objective. So if at one end of the spectrum you were fully subjective with an incompetent system, you become 100% objective with a perfect system. But obviously we can't get to perfection, so we are trying to push the boundaries as much as possible to get as close as possible to that 100% objectivity. And that will give us the ability to introduce products that are completely accessible by anyone at any level to have at home and enjoy the music almost like you were actually listening to the performance. If you look at it from like a live performance, you get the reference product, you're in the front rows, you get the next level, you're a few rows back, all the way to the DJ, you're almost at the back end of the auditorium, but you are actually listening to the same performance, same music, same sound, same emotional content. And that would be ideal if we could get it to 100%, and that we would have achieved our mission. And obviously perfection by definition is unattainable. So we are thriving to get there. We may never get there, and we probably never will, However, we're getting so close that you can't really tell the difference. And that is what we call a proper reference system.